Hi everyone. Did you know that the weight of ants on planet Earth outweighs human beings by over 1,000 times? That's amazing to think about, isn't it? There's lots of ants everywhere. Ants could be a big problem in a garden, but there are some solutions. Today we're going to talk about a couple of those. We have an ant mound right here in the middle of our garden. And not that these ants are causing any problem yet, but we probably don't want to have them active right in the middle of our garden. So there's a couple of solutions. One is you can use what's called DE, or Diatomaceous Earth. This is basically it's like a rock product that's been ground real fine, and insects will get it on their body and it sort of dries them out, it desiccates them. It works really well on ants. Another common solution people will use is borax, which is actually a cleaning agent, like a soap, a detergent. And insects will confuse it, particularly ants, will confuse it as a food source, and they'll drag it back inside their mound, and it gets all the way to the queen and kills the entire mound. This is also very sort of innocuous. It's not harmful at all, very organic treatment. If that doesn't work, you can always upgrade to a systemic type insecticide like Taro. It seems to be the best one. I've used a bunch of different ant insecticides on big ant mounds in the past, and Taro seems to be one of the better ones. I don't use this product on the bales themselves, but you can use it directly on the mounds that are near the bales. I don't know that plants would take up any of this product, but it's just an acid, essentially, is what the kill mechanism is. And I don't think the plants would take that up anyway, but just to avoid it, I really don't recommend you use this on your bales. But the other two, the borax or the diatomaceous earth, you can use directly on your bales if you're seeing it, crawling insects, particularly ants, which is what we're talking about today. So let's do a little treatment of this mound right here. We're gonna put a little DE on top and then a little bit of borax as well. It doesn't take very much, so you're just gonna sprinkle this over lightly over the top of the mound. And you'll see the ants as they crawl across this, they'll still be moving around, but it's going to desiccate them. It's going to dry them out over a period of time. And if they do grab any of this borax, they'll take this back down into the mound with them. And this does a great job of killing the queen as well when it gets down inside. They just can't digest it, and somehow it does something to screw up their metabolism and kills the ants. If you've put down the diatomaceous earth and you've put down the borax and a couple days later it still hasn't killed your ant mound, you may need to resort to something like the Taro product, insect bait, multi-purpose insect control. Little ant crawling on the bottle. The Taro works really well, not just for ants, but it also works for other insect problems, snails and grasshoppers and other things as well. If you don't need to use this, it's probably ideal if you didn't have to use it. I never use this on the bales, as I mentioned earlier, but if you do need to use it on an insect mound somewhere in the garden, you can certainly do that. I've noticed even as we just put this stuff down, there's already ants carrying little bits of the borax all around here. You can see little white specks, and they're carrying it back to wherever they came from. So it's definitely working already, and we just put it down. So I noticed this plant's got a few chewing insects working on the leaves here. So we're just going to use a little bit of DE, diatomaceous earth, and sprinkle it on the top of these bales right around the edges of this plant. Any insect that comes in contact with this DE is going to get desiccated very quickly and sort of dries up their body and kills them. It probably will kill some of the fungi, the mushrooms growing on this bale as well. It's pretty innocuous stuff. You don't have to worry if you get it on your hands. Just make sure you wash your hands off. You definitely don't want to get it in your eyes. But you'll feel it feels just like a real fine powder. Almost like a talcum powder, but it's definitely not talcum powder. It's called diatomaceous earth. Get some, try it. It works really well for most chewing, crawling caterpillars, other types of chewing insects. It seems to work pretty well, as well as ants.